Hi guys, thanks for tuning in to another classroom from Be Creative. My name is Sam Biddle and I want to show you a couple of things in this particular lesson. We're going to make gel polish a little bit transparent, and that's going to give us that stained glass look. We're going to use pigments, we're going to use the nail art pen, and I'm going to show you how to do fine lines with your detail brush, because in this lesson it's all about the lace. So I'm going to show you two different nails, but first let's do this transparent look. You're going to need top coat and the colour that you want. Now normally this is done with a black gel so that we create that transparent gel. I get this question asked me an awful lot. How do I get that semi-transparent effect over the top of a nail? Well, this is it. Literally a tiny amount of the black mixed in with your top coat, and use this a gel brush to just apply two thin coats. So we're going to do one coat here now, and then I'm going to pop this underneath the lamp, and then I'm going to do a second coat for you. Now this particular look has three different applications to it, so you can obviously take whichever application you want and do it on your client, or if you want to be greedy, do all three. So this is my second coat. I'm going to cure this now. Now what I'm going to do is actually wipe off this inhibition layer, because I want to create some art over the top. Now this is by no means finished, and if I wanted to just have this look without any art at all, I would have applied a top coat. As I said before, this lesson is all about the lace, and we're going to apply lace design two different ways. The first way with a brush. So you want to prep your brush. You don't want to have too thicker paint, so just add a little bit of water, and we're going to have a lace detail come down from the lunar area. So make sure that you get your design so that it's central. So find the central line and start creating a loop. Now it's very important to hold your brush so that only the tip actually touches the free edge, and that way you are going to create nice thin lines. Adding a small amount of water to the paint and then just wiping off any excess water on your hand is going to give you a more transparent look, but it's also going to help you achieve really fine lines. Now this is the netting that we normally find in lace, and we're going to apply this. It's actually really easy to apply as long as you've got the viscosity right of your paint. So it's really important that you add just enough water, loosen up that paint, make sure that viscosity is more like milk, and then take off any excess fluid on your skin. So then you can go in and you can do the crisscross hatch pattern that generally sits behind lace. Remember, this is very subtle. It doesn't have to be a solid color. We just want the effect to sit there, because then it just brings the whole design together. So now we're just going to add a little more strength to this initial loop that we applied. So when you first apply it, don't think to yourself, oh my goodness, it has to be perfect. It does not. You can always come back, and we're going to come back again, and we're going to add some more detail to this line. And we're actually going to now create a parallel loop. So when we create the parallel loop, if you actually look at lace, you will see that the lace is a series of thicker thread and thinner thread, and they are then created and woven together to create the pattern. And this is what we're trying to achieve here, simply and with paint. So now that we have our parallel loops, or our parallel half moons, we're going to come in and we're going to add some additional detail. Now look how I've angled my brush. I'm actually using the thicker part, or the barrel of my brush, and the point to create this pattern. And now I've tilted the brush again, so it's just the point of my brush that is actually touching the surface of the nail. Can you see that I am creating very, very thin lines because of this? Now we have zoomed right into this nail, so you guys, it looks thick to you, but when we come back out again, you will see that it is really quite fine. So it's very important when you're looking at something on screen or online like this, that you actually are able to translate it to a nail of your own or on your client. So again, we're going to repeat this teardrop pattern just by pressing the brush down so that we create a point, and then we're going to do the same, and we're just going to create two little flicks. So make sure that you do the same on both sides. and we're mirroring it all the time. This is just a segment of a larger piece of lace. So again, we're doing the same as what we did with the hatch effect at the top, but we're creating lines that go down. Remember, a little bit of water and you're wiping off any excess on your skin. So now this is the easy part. You're going to grab your nail art pen, dip it into your paint so the nib is completely covered, but we're actually not going to draw with the nail art pen in this particular design. We'll do that for the next one. You're going to use the nail art pen as a dotting tool. Now, the reason why we completely cover the nib is because the dots will form the same size every time we hit it down, and we're continually feeding the tip of the nib all the time with those dots, which means that we're not backwards and forwards into the paint pot, and this is going to save us a lot of time. So all the dots all the way along these loops, and that is how we actually finish off the design and make it a little bit more delicate. But we actually have not finished this design. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to add some pigment to it. You can just leave this exactly as it is if you want for your client, but I just want to show you a different effect which also looks really, really lovely. I'm using base coat because my base coat is going to give me more of an inhibition layer, but I want to have enough sticky layer that the pigment is actually going to be happy sticking to. If I used top coat, I don't get this inhibition layer that I'm after. So now I'm using Did You Know pigment from the Party collection. It is a charcoal black which lends itself perfectly for this design. And can you see how I'm patting the design up into an ombre so it goes up into that lace effect? And this is where that transparent gel color comes into its own, because it looks amazing. And I would not be able to achieve that transparent effect even if I tried to use a solid color. Look what I'm doing with the nail art pen. I'm scratching through the pigment. So that transparent color underneath, when the light hits the underside of the nail, you're actually going to be able to see through the pigment. So it's a very subtle effect, but it looks amazing. Guys, you've got to excuse that tiny stray hair there. Don't worry, I do catch it and it's not part of the end result. So you're scratching through, you're actually mirroring the design that you did above. If you are struggling to see this, put a white piece of paper underneath so that you actually can see it properly. Then what's left to do is top coat, and that's your design done. So let's move on to the next one. I'm actually going to use the nail art pen for this particular design. First off, I'm applying 2 coats of black gel, and then we're doing the whole design with the nail art pen. So again, dip the nib all the way up to the top into your paint. I'm using skin here, not white, because I don't want my paint to look too harsh against the black, and using skin is just that little bit more vintage. It just seems a lot softer and gentle to the eye. Can you see what I'm doing? Rather than creating a solid line and then coming back later to add dots, I'm creating the line with my dots, and I'm doing the smile line. So those of you that are struggling applying your lines with the nail art pen because of the C curve of the nail and finding that the lines aren't as straight as you'd like it to, then just dot it. Dot it, you could even fill in the dots later. So we're doing a little bit of a different pattern on this particular nail, and I'm going to primarily use dots. But as we go through, we're going to also do the loops like we did before. But right now I'm going to match up the dots that I've created on that top, or the smile line that we originally created just a moment ago. I'm going to match up the loops underneath. I'm going to be quiet now and let you watch the design unfold using the nail art pen, and you will see right at the end that I come in with the orange brush and I create those fine lines, just removing the water on the side of my hand so that I get that soft, transparent effect. So take a look at this design and I'll be right back with you. So what did you guys think? I would love to see your results on our Facebook page. I'm going to put the link at the bottom. Please share your results with me and let me know how you get on with the nail art pen. Lace is going to be big for you this summer and spring, especially those that are doing nail art for brides. So this is why I wanted to incorporate this lesson. But if you want to see more lessons that are ideal for spring, go and look at the back catalogue on this classroom. Also, if you want to ask me questions about the online learning, here is the email. You can just drop me a line and I can answer some more. I hope you enjoyed the design and the techniques I've shown you in this free lesson. Don't forget, share your results on our Facebook page.